Have you ever met someone whose behavior, no matter how hard you try, you just can't figure it out? Have you ever wondered why they always seek attention, never admit their mistakes, or never truly empathize with anyone? Or have you ever felt confused and helpless when faced with such people? Morgan bets you're not the only one. These people can appear anywhere, at work, in the family, even in close friendships. They make us feel tired and annoyed, but understanding their behavior can help us find ways to cope more effectively. Imagine a beautiful day. You are having a nice conversation with friends, but suddenly someone interrupts your story, always wanting to be the center of attention. Or when you share a sad story, that person turns to talk about themselves and ignores your feelings. Does this situation sound familiar? It's a sign of a narcissist. In today's video, Morgan will help you discover 5 things that these people often do that we can't understand. Each point is accompanied by real-life examples and advice from Stoicism philosophy, so you can apply it in your life right away. Be ready to receive valuable knowledge and how to deal with these people in the most calm and effective way. Don't forget, at the end of the video, I will share a special secret to help you stay calm and live happier even when encountering such unpleasant people. Let's start this journey with Morgan by liking, subscribing to our awesome community, and leaving a comment below saying, "I am strong." This comment will be our mantra as we go through each point, reinforcing our commitment to handling difficult situations with grace and strength. Comment now, as this lets YouTube know that this message needs to be spread. Are you ready to make a change? Surely, each of us has met someone who always thinks that he is the center of the universe, right? These people always appear with excessive confidence and pride, making us feel like they are living in another world, where everything revolves around them. But how can they maintain such an inflated ego without feeling tired? Let's explore the first thing in the list of 5 confusing behaviors of people with narcissism. Number 1. Constant self-importance. Imagine you are attending a family gathering or a party with close friends. The atmosphere is warm and cheerful, everyone is sharing stories, and laughter echoes throughout the room. You feel very relaxed and happy, enjoying every precious moment with your loved ones. Suddenly, the atmosphere starts to change when one person starts trying to attract everyone's attention. They are always the first and only one to talk, endlessly talking about their personal achievements. They brag about the things they have done, the places they have been, the awards they have won. They tell stories that seem to have no end, always wanting to highlight themselves in front of everyone. You sit there listening, but feel a little tired and confused. You wonder why they need to do that. Why can't they share moments with others in a more natural and gentle way? What makes them constantly seek admiration from everyone around them? This is a manifestation of constant pride, one of the most obvious characteristics of narcissists. These people always feel that they need to stand out, need to be recognized and praised by others to feel good about themselves. They fear that if they are not noticed, they will lose their value. According to Stoic philosophy, pride is a sign of an imbalance in the soul. Epictetus, one of the famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "We cannot control external circumstances, but we can control our reactions to them." Narcissists often do not realize that they are being controlled by the desire for recognition and admiration. They let their inflated egos control their emotions and behaviors instead of seeking inner peace. In Christianity, pride is also considered a sin, often called pride. Pride is when a person puts himself above everyone else and even above God. In the Bible, it says, "Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted." This reminds us of humility and the importance of putting our egos aside to live a more fulfilling and harmonious life. So, how can we identify and deal with people who are arrogant? First, remember that their behavior reflects their inner insecurities and insecurities. They need admiration from others to feel worthy. By understanding this, we can be more empathetic towards them and not be influenced by their behavior. Second, stand your ground and don't get caught up in their games. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we can control our reactions. When faced with an arrogant person, stay calm and don't let your emotions dictate your actions. This will not only help you maintain your inner peace, but will also help you deal with them more effectively. Finally, practice humility and gratitude in your life. When you live humbly and gratefully, you not only create a positive environment around you, but you also inspire others to do the same. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." And now, Morgan wants to hear from you. Have you ever met someone with such arrogant behavior? Share your story so we can learn from each other. Remember, the true value of each person is not in the praise of others, but in our own positive actions and thoughts. Live humbly, live self-aware, and live happily. If you agree with this point of view, please give Morgan a like and leave a comment. I am not an arrogant person. Having explored the constant self-importance of narcissists, we now have a better understanding of why they feel so special and superior to everyone around them. But that's not all. Along with that self-importance comes a constant need, the need to be admired and praised by others. When self-importance isn't enough to satisfy them, they seek external validation to bolster their ego. Let's dive into the second, more complex and interesting aspect. Why do narcissists need constant admiration? What drives them to constantly crave praise from others? Number 2, constant need for admiration. Have you ever wondered why some people never seem to be satisfied with what they get? They crave admiration and praise from others, as if it were the fuel that feeds their ego. Imagine a dinner party you attend. While everyone is happily chatting, sharing their joys and sorrows, there is one person who is always trying to draw attention to himself. Whenever someone tells a story, they interrupt with their own great stories. They are constantly looking for admiring glances and compliments from those around them. Have you noticed this in someone in your life? Stoic philosophy, with its profound thoughts on self-awareness and self-control, helps us better understand this need for admiration. Epictetus, one of the famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "Do not seek praise from others, seek satisfaction from within yourself." This means that true happiness does not come from the admiration of others, but from peace and self-acceptance. Narcissists, on the other hand, are insecure about themselves. They need admiration to strengthen their fragile egos. They cannot find satisfaction from within, so they seek it from without. Every compliment, every admiring glance is a temporary medicine that makes them feel better about themselves. But this is only temporary, never bringing true happiness. Christianity also has similar views on humility and self-esteem. In the Bible, we are taught, "He who humbles himself will be exalted, and he who exalts himself will be humbled." Humility is a precious virtue, helping us live in peace and happiness. People who always seek admiration from others often lose this humility, and as a result, they never feel satisfied. As students of Stoic philosophy, we need to clearly realize that happiness does not come from outside. Happiness comes from knowing yourself, accepting your shortcomings, and constantly improving yourself. When we are no longer dependent on the admiration of others, we are truly free. So how do we deal with these admiration seekers? Remember, we cannot change them, but we can change how we react. Be patient, show empathy, and try not to let them affect our inner peace. We can gently guide them to their true values, helping them understand that happiness doesn't come from admiration, but from self-awareness and inner peace. Share your stories of people you have met who are always looking for admiration from others. How did you deal with them? Remember, our true value lies not in the praise of others, but in our own positive actions and thoughts. Now that we understand the insatiable need for admiration of narcissists, we can see that external praise is never enough to fill the void inside them. Right? This brings us to another, more worrying aspect, their lack of empathy. When they are so focused on gaining admiration, they become blind to the feelings and needs of others. Join Morgan in exploring why these people often lack empathy, and how we can identify and deal with this lack of empathy in our daily lives. Number 3. Lack of empathy. Did you know that according to a staggering statistic, a whopping 6% of the world's population is believed to suffer from narcissistic personality disorder? This means that in our daily lives, we are likely to encounter these people. And one of their most prominent traits is their lack of empathy. When narcissists are so focused on gaining admiration and praise, they become blind to the feelings and needs of others. They are unable to put themselves in the shoes of others, unable to feel and share the pain, joy, or anxiety of those around them. This not only makes them lonely, but also causes great damage to the relationships around them. Stoic philosophy teaches us the importance of understanding and sharing the feelings of others. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Ask yourself every morning, who will I help today? Who needs my help?" This quote reminds us that empathy is not only a virtue, but also a responsibility of each person in society. Narcissists often lack this ability. They only focus on themselves, on what they need and want, forgetting that others also have feelings and needs. This makes it easy for them to hurt others without even realizing it. They cannot see the hurt they are causing, and even if they do not feel responsible or have the need to make amends. In Christianity, empathy is an important virtue. Jesus taught us, "Love your neighbor as yourself." This means that we must be able to put ourselves in the shoes of others, to sympathize and share. When we lack empathy, we cannot practice this teaching and therefore cannot live a truly happy and peaceful life. So, how do we deal with this lack of empathy? How can we not be hurt by people who are not empathetic? First, we must clearly realize that they cannot change if they do not recognize their problems. We cannot force them to be empathetic if they are not willing. But we can change the way we react. Be patient, learn to forgive, and don't let them affect your inner peace. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, once said, "We cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we react to it." When faced with people who lack empathy, we can choose to be calm and patient, not letting them hurt us. We can learn to protect ourselves and hold on to our values, not letting their lack of empathy affect us. Morgan wants to hear from you. Have you ever encountered someone who lacks empathy? How did you deal with them? Share your story in the comments below. Let's discuss and learn from each other. Remember, our true worth lies not in the admiration of others, but in our own positive actions and thoughts. Morgan hopes that in this aspect we will change together, live happier and more peaceful lives. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on positive and inspiring lessons in life. Morgan believes that together we will become better every day. Once we understand the lack of empathy in narcissists, we see that not only are they unable to feel and share the emotions of others, but they also exploit this weakness for their own gain. This brings us to another worrying aspect. These people often use subtle tactics to control and manipulate others, turning their lack of empathy into a weapon to protect their ego. Join Morgan to explore how they do this and how we can recognize and counter these psychological games in our daily lives. Number 4. Psychological manipulation. Have you ever felt manipulated without even realizing it? Or found yourself caught in an unfair psychological game? These are the tactics that narcissists often use to control and manipulate others. Suppose you are in a relationship where your every move is being subtly monitored and manipulated. You feel like you're walking on a tightrope, always afraid that the slightest mistake will lead to criticism and punishment. Does this sound familiar? It's psychological manipulation. Narcissists use these tactics to maintain power and control while protecting their fragile egos. Stoic philosophy provides us with valuable tools to deal with psychological manipulation. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, once said, "It is not our circumstances that make us, but our response to them." This means that while we cannot control the behavior of others, we can control how we respond. Calmness and steadfastness are key to avoiding being caught up in other people's psychological games. Narcissists often use tactics like gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation that causes the victim to begin to doubt themselves. They may constantly deny things you know to be true or twist the truth to make you feel lost and insecure. This not only damages your self-esteem, but also makes you dependent on them. In Christianity, we are taught to love your neighbor as yourself. This includes protecting yourself from manipulation and control by others. Jesus taught us about forgiveness and kindness, but that does not mean we have to accept injustice and abuse. We need to set boundaries and protect ourselves. Another example of psychological manipulation is love bombing, where the narcissist initially appears to be extremely loving and caring in order to lure you into a relationship. However, once they have achieved their goal, they will start to withdraw and use emotions as a tool to control you. These behaviors are all aimed at maintaining dominance and control. So what should we do when faced with this psychological manipulation? First, recognize the signs of manipulation. When you feel that you are being manipulated or caught up in psychological games, stop and look at the situation objectively. Don't let your emotions overwhelm you. Remember the teaching of Epictetus: it is not the circumstances that make a man, but the way we react to them. Second, set clear boundaries. Don't hesitate to express your feelings and opinions. When you find yourself being manipulated, speak up and defend your rights. Don't let others overwhelm and control you. Remember, self-confidence and determination are the most powerful weapons against psychological manipulation. Third, seek support from family and friends. Don't try to deal with psychological manipulation alone. Share your feelings and experiences with people you trust. They can provide you with valuable advice and support, helping you see the problem more clearly. In Christianity, we learn the value of community and mutual support. Jesus taught, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them." When we connect and support each other, we become stronger and can cope with any difficulty in life. Have you ever encountered someone who uses psychological manipulation tactics? How did you deal with them? Remember, our true worth is not in the praise of others, but in our own positive actions and thinking. Now that we have a clear understanding of how narcissists use psychological manipulation to control and dominate others, we see that they do this not only to maintain power, but also to avoid responsibility. This brings us to our final topic: avoidance of responsibility. When things get tough, they often find ways to blame others, refuse to admit their mistakes, and never face the consequences of their actions. Join me, Morgan, in exploring why these people always avoid responsibility and how we can stay mentally strong and live happier lives despite encountering such people. Number 5. Avoidance of responsibility. There are people who always avoid responsibility and blame others. They never seem to admit their mistakes and always seek to protect their ego. This is sad, but it is also a reality that we need to understand and deal with. Let's start with a story about a famous leader, Nelson Mandela. He is a symbol of courage and determination. He spent more than 27 years in prison for his struggle against apartheid in South Africa. During his imprisonment, Mandela never lost his belief in justice and human rights. When he was released, many feared retaliation, but Mandela chose the path of reconciliation and forgiveness. He not only led with courage, but also took responsibility for his decisions, no matter how difficult. One of the most memorable moments was when Mandela stood before the South African Parliament after being elected president. Instead of blaming those who imprisoned him, Mandela said, "We must build a nation where everyone has equal rights and responsibilities. Let our choices reflect hope, not fear." This quote not only reflects his vision, but also reminds us of the importance of taking responsibility and not running away from challenges. This is in stark contrast to people with narcissism. They often try to avoid responsibility and blame others when things go wrong. They fear that admitting their mistakes will damage their ego, so they choose to avoid and blame. This not only hurts the people around them, but also prevents them from learning and growing from their mistakes. In Stoic philosophy, Epictetus said, It is not our circumstances that make us, but our response to them. Narcissists, instead of facing responsibility and learning from their mistakes, seek to blame others to protect their image. They fear that admitting their mistakes will damage their ego, so they choose to avoid and blame. In Christianity, we are taught, love your neighbor as yourself. This includes accepting responsibility and admitting when we are wrong. Jesus taught us humility and self-respect, that we need to take responsibility for our actions and learn from our mistakes to become better. Narcissists, however, often lack this ability. They cannot admit their mistakes and always try to blame others. So, how do we deal with such people? First, we need to clearly realize that we cannot change them, but we can change the way we react. Be patient and do not let them affect our inner peace. Remember the teaching of Epictetus. It is not the circumstances that make a man, but the way we react to them. Second, set clear boundaries. When you find yourself being unfairly blamed, speak up and defend your rights. Do not let them overwhelm and control you. Remember, self-confidence and perseverance are the most powerful weapons against psychological manipulation and avoidance of responsibility. Third, seek support from family and friends. Don't try to deal with people who avoid responsibility alone. Share your feelings and experiences with people you trust. They can provide you with valuable advice and support, helping you see the problem more clearly. Now, Morgan wants to share with you a special secret to help you stay mentally stable and live happier despite encountering difficult people. That is, focus on yourself and the positive things around you. Practice gratitude every day. Acknowledge the good things and the people who love you. Take time to take care of yourself. Exercise physically and mentally. This will help you maintain peace of mind and not be affected by the people around you. Remember, we cannot control other people's behavior, but we can control how we react. Live with patience, humility, and always take responsibility for your actions. This will not only help you live a happier and more peaceful life, but also set an example for those around you. Have you ever met someone who always avoids responsibility? How did you deal with them? Share your story so we can discuss and learn from each other. Remember, the true value of each person does not lie in the praise of others, but in their own positive actions and thinking. So, we have gone through the journey of discovering 5 things that narcissists do, and why these behaviors are so confusing. Morgan would like to express her sincere gratitude to those of you who have taken the time to follow and accompany me throughout this video. Your support and interaction are a great source of motivation for me to continue sharing valuable knowledge and lessons. Morgan hopes that what we have discussed will not only help you better understand the psychology of narcissists, but also equip you with the tools and methods to live a more peaceful and happy life, despite the challenges we may encounter in life. Remember, our true worth is not in the praise of others, but in our own positive actions and thoughts. Live with patience, humility, and always take responsibility for our actions. This will not only make us stronger, but also spread good things to everyone around us. Once again, Morgan thanks you for taking the time to watch and listen. Before we end, can you do Morgan a small favor? It would mean a lot to me to let me know what you think of this video by choosing one of the following options. 1. Unsatisfied. 2. neutral. 3. Satisfied. 4. Very satisfied. Leave your vote in the comment section below. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our next videos. Also, check out the other videos shown at the end of this video. Thank you, and I hope you find joy and peace in your life. See you in the next videos.